hockey fans, and welcome back to another edition of Puck My Life. We're doing things a little bit different tonight. I am taking second chair, Cody's taking first chair, and we're going to go over a game experience that he had just recently in Arizona. So take it over, Cody.
Yeah, so this was a game I went to a few months back. So if you are not from the past and you're a hockey fan, you probably know the fate of the Arizona Coyotes and why this will be a bit of a unique experience. I think, we had some conversations going back, Tyler. I had this game planned to go to, and I think, we'd had some conversations that it seemed like we were going to at least have maybe next year to get you out to a Coyotes game at Mullet Arena.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that ultimately was not how things played out. The Coyotes no longer being in Arizona. So this will be kind of a throwback experience already. So we'll kind of dive into it.
All right, I'm ready.
So I live in northern Arizona. So for me to get down to Tempe, where Mullet Arena is located in the greater Phoenix area, it's about a 3.5 hour drive to get down there. However, if you were to fly into Phoenix and drive right into fly into Sky Harbor and drive over to Tempe to Mullet Arena, it says it's about 10-minute drive. If you've ever been to Phoenix, then traffic exists there in an abundance. It might be a bit more than 10 minutes. All that to say, the arena is located, as you can see, right on the campus of Arizona State University. So they are still playing. Their college program still plays there, and I think they're trying to get some Roadrunner games from Tucson, a few of them at least up in Tempe this year.
So that will be for
Uh,
next season, though, right?
Yeah, I think it's just a handful of games, maybe 5 or 6 that they're planning this year. This video is not completely irrelevant. There'll still be plenty of hockey to go at Mullet Arena. It's a very new facility. It just opened for the 22-23 NHL season. So the Coyotes played 2 seasons there before they ultimately moved up to Utah. But ASU hockey program will still be playing there. So I neglected to get a nice photo like this from outside the arena when I was there. So this is not my photo. I stole this off the internet. Looks like they're playing the Rangers that night. However, the night I went, this is kind of what the atmosphere looked like outside. I went to go see my favorite team, the Red Wings, play, and there was a lot of Red Wings fans there, as you can see. It was kind of cool. Even pre-game. Ken Cal, the radio announcer for the Red Wings, he walked right out here and was taking pictures and signing stuff for Red Wings fans. I don't know if they do this every game either, but just to the right of where I took this photo, there was actually a food truck selling Detroit-style Coney dogs. And
Nice.
so, it definitely made it a very homey experience being able to eat a Coney dog with a bunch of people wearing Red Wings jerseys, even though it was late winter and I was out there in shorts. So definitely a nice feature of Arizona hockey is the weather.
Yeah, and one thing, if you don't know this and you're listening, is Arizona is one of the top states that the snowbirds from Michigan go to now. I think it feels like there's a lot more people going to Arizona now, at least people that I know, than going to Florida because they don't want to deal with the hurricanes and stuff. So I would
Yeah.
expect a good Red Wings turnout when they're out there, especially during the wintertime because of that. So it's really cool. So to see that the Red Wings have a nice presence in Arizona.
Yeah, a lot of Canadians like to head down to
Oh
southern
yeah, that too.
Arizona, the Phoenix, Tucson area. Um, then, especially depending on the time of the year, this was a game in March that I went to. So the Desert League is doing spring training down there. So I think the Angels, Cubs, and a few other teams do their spring training down there. Because I know that Roadrunners game you and I went to a few years ago, you would have
Yeah.
thought we were at a Cubs game by the amount of Cubs gear we saw there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. And to let people know, I have seen the Coyotes play at a home arena that they were in. I did go to Gila River, so it's
True.
just that when they did this switch over, Cody was able to see them at both of their Arizona arenas.
So yeah, this is a beautiful facility. When they first started building it, it was just intended for ASU hockey, and then the Coyotes had some arena issues, to say the least, come up, and
Yeah.
so they kind of late in the project switched over. So they added some things for NHL hockey, but by and large, it's pretty apparent as soon as, even if you were here to see an NHL game, it was pretty apparent right up from the get go that this is a college facility. But all that to say, it is a top tier college facility. I know you've seen more college hockey than I have, Tyler, but I mean, this is outside of an NHL arena. This is probably the nicest arena I've been to.
Yeah,
Super
it
nice,
looks
super
great.
imposing.
It reminds me a lot of the Meridian Center in Niagara. Not necessarily the outside, but the layout with the way they have the press boxes and everything. Like, yeah, it looks like it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah, as you can see, they have some kind of luxury boxes up top, and then on one end they had kind of like a bar club section where you could get drinks, food, and kind of stand up against and have a beautiful view. It's an amazing place to watch a hockey game. I would definitely recommend, if you're in the Phoenix area and ASU is playing, get on down there, check out a game, just because it's an amazing facility for hockey. And it's kind of funny. You mentioned the press box. The only other, I've never seen this anywhere else. I guess a little bit at the Global Series game that we had went to, where if you're just walking the concourse, you're literally like, you can walk right behind where the TV announcers are. So I mean, you can stand right next to them while they're calling the game, for better or for worse. It
Yeah.
was cool because, like, during intermissions, Chris Osgood and Ken Daniels from the Red Wings broadcast team, that they're taking pictures with fans, talking with fans, which, I mean, that's not an experience you get really at any other arena, because they're usually way up high above everybody else where you don't even see them.
Yeah.
So yeah, talking about parking, one of the first things we always like to talk about with these arena experiences. So there's some good and bad with the parking here. Like I said, it is right in the heart of Arizona State University. So there is a lot of parking nearby. The downside to that is, if there's anything college campuses love to do, it's they love to control and capture their money from parking. Um, so I don't know anywhere really in the area that you could park for free. Maybe there's some Tempe insiders that know, but there's parking garages, parking lots all around the arena. It's just you're gonna have to pay. From my experience, what I saw, I did end up parking in this the Packard Drive structure right next to the arena. It was about, I think, $25.
Wow.
Not the worst I've seen for parking, but also considering, like, um that outside arena photo that I stole from the internet, that was taken from the parking structure.
Oh,
So I
okay.
mean, I think for me, like, after the game, I this from about 3 minutes after I walked out the door and felt that desert air hit me, I was in my car.
Oh, wow.
um and they have they do a really good job of controlling traffic down there, I felt like. And compared to other, it does only hold 4,500 people there, so maybe compared to a regular NHL game, when there's four times that amount, there's four times that many cars to get out of the arena as well. So I felt like it flowed pretty well getting out of there. um yeah, there really wasn't any, like, street parking or surface level parking right near the arena. So just be prepared, I guess, if you're going to a game down there. Unless you're an ASU student and probably already have your parking paid for, you're probably going to have to shell out a little bit for some parking. Now, tickets. This is a bit of a funny one, because you can't really. There's no tickets to buy for future Coyotes games, so I don't have anything to kind of show you on what it might look like, because there's nothing to look at. I will say, for an NHL ticket, it was pretty expensive to get in there. I think I paid about $200 a ticket. Um,
Sheesh.
it was an expensive get. That said, it only holds 4,500 people.
Yeah.
So with that, the seats were amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I was two or three rows from the top, and that was still the closest I have ever sat to the ice for a regular season NHL game. The views were just spectacular, and so I think that's for the price point I paid for the view I got compared to a regular NHL arena. I think would be on the money, if not a great value. It's just with Mullet Arena, you have no choice but to get an absolutely excellent view, because there are no nosebleeders. The very highest row is probably, compared to Little Caesars Arena, where I know you and I have been to a bunch of times, Tyler. The very top row at Mullet is probably 2/3 of the way up the lower bowl at Little Caesars Arena. It was what I would say. So you for the NHL game, you were going to pay more for a ticket, but you're going to get a great experience for that. I will say the game that I went, I know the Red Wings do tend to travel really well. It probably was 60% Red Wings fans there, but there were a lot of Coyotes fans. There's been a lot of remarks and snide remarks at that about the fan base of Arizona. But I can tell you, and Tyler can tell you from the game we went to at the Gila River Arena, that Coyotes fans, believe it or not, they do exist, and they are very
Yep.
passionate. They are loud. I know we had those guys at Gila River with the cowbells and the chants going behind us. They were into it. Being a sunny city, there are a lot of out people from all other places of the country that come there, and they bring their fandoms with them, myself included. But there are a lot of fans there in the desert, so I am sad to see their team, and to a degree my team. I live in Arizona. Was the closest team to me, so we're all sad to see him go. Merch. I think I've got one picture here. So when you first walk into the arena, there's kind of a lower concourse, and they had this big merch area there. They had all sorts of things: jerseys, T-shirts, pucks, plush, hats, all of it. I will say, Tyler and I always like to look for the Adidas gear, and they did have a good amount of Adidas stuff, a good amount of Fanatics as well. I, fortunately, not knowing at the time that it would be my last chance to see the Arizona Coyotes for ever, or at least a long time, I did buy a lot of merch. Just to the left of where this photo was taken, they had a table set up where they had the Arizona Coyotes Foundation had a table set up where you could, I think it was like $80. You could buy like a mystery bag, and it came with a autographed puck, an autographed mini helmet, and an autographed mini stick. So I did buy that. So I got a mini stick here that's signed by JJ Mosley. At first, when I saw this autograph, I got excited. I thought that might be Logan Cooley, but JJ Mosley, looked it up. They don't come with any COAs, unfortunately. And then here's the mini helmet, kind of cool. That's signed by, I can't find my camera, Jack McBain. And then it came with a puck as well that's signed by Josh Brown. So
that's cool.
Oh no, I thought it was pretty cool. Your funds are going to charity with that, and you get some pretty cool merch, especially, I love the Coyotes logo and all their merch. I'm a sucker for it, so they didn't have to sell me twice. And then I did also pick up a Howler plush, so I thought that was cool. And then I didn't buy this at Mullet, but I did buy this at the game we went to a few years ago. An official game puck for the Coyotes with the Kachina logo. This was from 2020 and ran about $20. I think they were about $25 when they were selling them at Mullet for this game.
Okay.
And then concessions, they did have decent amount of options. So like I said, when you first walk in, they have a lower concourse that they had some concession booths down there, and then you kind of go up some steps to get to the actual arena, and then where the ice is, and they have a concourse that wraps around the stadium there too. And that's where kind of that club section was that sold drinks, and then they had kind of a chicken place and a regular concession. So here's kind of what options you'd have at kind of the regular concession. So I actually did get some food from this one. I got a chicken tender basket and I think just a Blue Moon. So about $30 for those two things.
Wow.
So your typical stadium pricing. I will say the chicken tenders and the fries were really good. I actually really, really liked the fries. I was, I always have low expectations with stadium food, and the chicken tenders were slightly better than I expected, but the fries were excellent. And basket of fries for $6.50, I guess, isn't that bad of a deal for a stadium. And then this is the what they had at the chicken place. Looking at this menu afterwards, I was kind of wished I'd gotten some of these things, like grilled
Yeah.
cheese. That would have been kind of cool. Mac and cheese bites. So that for, and like I said, this is a college stadium first. So I think for
Yeah.
a college stadium, these are some kind of cool concession options rather than just nachos and a pack of Skittles. So I
Now,
thought it
do you
was pretty
think
cool.
they might have upped the prices like at these NHL games versus like when the college team is playing? Like
I
I
don't
would want to
know.
look at that and see if, like, now that you have these pictures and we're, spoiler alert, I'm planning on going out there to see him this fall. So I would be really curious to see, looking back at this a few months from now, like, did they jack up the price like
Yeah.
$2 to $3 on some of this? Because I mean, you're looking there. Okay, $6 for a Powerade, you can go get for like $1.50 to $2. $5 for a water, which I think if you're running an arena, I think you should have your bottles of water at like $1 or two. Like, give people like a good option. Or if you're not going to do that, then have a decent amount of drinking fountains around. I don't think you should be able to charge that much for water. I mean, realistically, you add $2 more to that, and that's what the whole case of Dasani costs. Like, seriously, like, come on. But
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah,
guess at that point, do I want a bottle of water or a few dollars more and just get a beer? So,
yeah, at that, yeah, it makes
yeah.
no sense. So, but yeah, let's try to like
Yeah,
look
let's
into that when
focus
we
on
go
that.
and see, like, did they jack up the prices just because they knew the NHL crowd was there versus an ASU crowd?
Yeah, that'll be an interesting case study for us to see.
Yeah,
So atmosphere. I think this is what a lot of people were really excited about Mullet Arena when the Coyotes first announced that they were going there. And I would say it lived up to it. It's the crowd's right on top of the ice. It's for an NHL game. It's not hard to get a sellout when you only hold 4,500 seats. So it was packed that when I was there. Which even like it was hard moving around both concourses, like because it was if there's any knock, they could have built the other concourse, the kind of the main concourse by the ice a little bit wider, because it especially holding a beer and those chicken tenders trying to fight my way through the crowd.
yeah.
I didn't want to get barbecue sauce on my jersey, but yeah, it was packed. It was loud there. Um, so I've got one video here. This will be kind of shortly after the puck dropped, when all the Red Wings fans in attendance were excited to be seeing their team. We were deep in the playoff race at the time. So yeah, let's show you that. So yeah, you can see right off the puck drop, the Red Wings fans were loud. They made themselves known. And keep in mind, like this is the view from my seats, 2 to 3 rows up from the ice. So
That's
everybody is super close to the game and invested and into it. Um, Now I will say the fun thing about road games, especially the Red Wings, because they do tend to travel well, or just any game that the away team does have a lot of fans there, is you kind of get into those chant battles, and so that was happening a lot this game. The Red Wings fans, they made themselves known right off the bat. But shortly after this video was taken, the Coyotes scored, and then they scored again, and then it ended up being a 4-0 win for the Coyotes.
oh
Uh,
man,
so the Red Wings fans, we were a little quiet towards the end. But the Coyotes fans, there were a lot of chants going. I did feel bad as somebody who is a Red Wings fan and also a big fan of Arizona hockey. Uh, Late in the third, when the game was out of hand, and I think all the fans knew it, there was a Salt Lake City chant that kind of made me feel bad. Um, but the Coyotes fans drowned that out with their own cheers, and then they ended up going home victorious. All in all, it was a really fun game. The Coyotes, they put up a good fight on the ice, and their fans, they made themselves known throughout the game. lot of people. Everyone, all the Coyotes fans there were wearing jerseys too, which I thought was really cool. Sometimes you go to games and people are there, they're cheering, but they're not wearing jerseys. I always think it's fun when there's a lot of people wearing jerseys at a game. That's what I really enjoy. I didn't see a Ducks jersey though. I don't recall seeing a Ducks
No
jersey.
Ducks jersey? Oh, come
No,
on.
maybe he was there. I just didn't see him.
Yeah.
So here's what I got for the puck score. Parking, I gave it an 8 out of 10 because, like you said, you do have to pay. Um, but there is an abundance of parking nearby. And like I said, I paid like $25 or whatever it was and was literally across the street on like the second level. So, I mean, if you're going to have to pay for parking, it's pretty great if it is going to be that close. Where if you wanted to, you could probably take a baseball and hit the arena from the seat of your car. Tickets, I did kind of knock them on the ticket prices there just because they were really high. We'll probably be doing another video on Mullet after we get down there for an ASU game next year.
Yep.
So I imagine for that, tickets are going to be a little bit more forgiving, so they can probably pick up some points there. Merch, I'd give them an 8 out of 10. They did have a good selection kind of in that bottom concourse. Then I forgot to mention it during the merch section, but in the kind of upper concourse, actually by the ice, they did have some little kiosks there that had decent little selections. So being as that the Coyotes are not the main tenant, or were not the main tenant in Mullet Arena, they didn't have their own team store. They kind of just had that little section that they can tear down for when the Coyotes are not playing there. I'll be interested to see what ASU does for merch. I don't think traditionally college teams don't tend to sell as much merch as NHL teams, but I'll be interested to see what and where they sell it. And then the concessions, I give them a 9 out of 10. Prices were a bit high, but not higher than what you'd expect, at an arena, unfortunately. But the quality was great. And the atmosphere, I mean, it's a college arena. It's small, but it was amazing. Like just being able to see an NHL game, up that close, to see just how fast the game was. It was loud in there. The music was bumping. Overall, I thought it was an amazing atmosphere. I kind of I'm honestly a little sad to see the NHL leave Mullet Arena because it really was just an amazing place to see a hockey game. And then for the wow factor, I did give them 2 out of 3, just because of how just that view. You get to be that close to the action. You get to enjoy it. It's loud in there. I know players have raved about the ice because unlike a lot of other NHL facilities, they don't do like concerts. They don't play basketball there regularly. Actually, I think they're actually moving the D League team or the G League team for the Suns there. So maybe this will change for the college players in the future. But yeah, because it was an ice hockey first facility, and the players loved the ice. And then I think the only reason I wouldn't give it a 3 out of 3 is as soon as you get in there, it is very apparent that it's not an NHL facility. There's certain concessions they had to make for the Coyotes to be there. Um, it was kind of all over social media when they first started playing there that the visitor locker room wasn't even in the building. They had to walk outside to the next building over. So there, it is pretty apparent
Wow.
it's not an NHL facility. But like I said a ton of times in this video, it's just an amazing place to watch a hockey game. So if you can get out there, I would definitely recommend it. And then yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, I think things are picking up there quite a bit, and then we're starting to post more to that on the YouTube side of things. So if you want to talk more about kind of where we're going and how to connect with us, Tyler.
Yeah, so Instagram is probably the best place to get a hold of us, and then you can message us here on YouTube or comment below. Also, be sure to check out that link tree. You can follow us on Rumble if you'd rather consume the content over there. And there's a few other cool things. The Ultimate Hockey Map, the Arena Tour map that shows where both Cody and I have been throughout the country. And so there's a lot of cool resources over there. So go ahead, check that out. There's fun stuff as far as like the highlight tabs there. You can see what it was like at the Memorial Cup, Calumet for the Gibson Cup. Just all kinds of crazy stuff went on this season. It's when we do the season recap, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, the amazing things, the opportunities that we've had, and it's it's only going to get better from here. Like I'm super excited for the season. I know I told Cody like going to the Memorial Cup, seeing all those people in the different jerseys, and it's already amped me up. And it's like I don't even really think I'm gonna come off this high. It's like we'll have a little bit of a lull, but then we're gonna get right back into it. So we got a lot of cool things planned for next season. We're gonna have a few more of these experiences where Cody's gonna take the reins on these. So let's see what we got. We got when you went to Florida and Ball Arena.
Yep, in Colorado.
Yep, so there'll be a couple more of those coming up. So we got a lot of catching up to do, folks. And so we're gonna just, like we said in the previous video, we're gonna just chip away at it, one experience at a time. I would have to speculate we probably have between 45 and 55 minutes, if not more, to cover. So we're gonna try to get as caught up as we can this summer. Fingers crossed with that. So yeah,
We're better at going to games than making videos sometimes.
yeah, I know. I apologize for that. We want to try to get to the point where we are doing them closer to when we go, just so everything is a little bit more fresh. So if we can get caught up, maybe next season that'll be something that we can get rolling out a little quicker. I know certain people have talked to me like, "Hey, when's the next episode coming out?" I was like, "All right, well, we're in a bit of a lull, but we're picking it back up." So apologize to you guys on the lack of videos as of late. It has been busy. I know Cody's been busy. I was at the Memorial Cup for like 10 days straight. Like it, and we got the draft coming up. So yeah. If you want to talk about the draft, I think we got the draft coming up here. What is it? 3 weeks now?
About 3.5, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's gonna be here before you know it.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for tagging along with us as we went to Mullet Arena. If you get out there, let us know. Send us pictures. Support ASU hockey, and then, like always, we do all this for the love of hockey. You got anything else for us, Tyler?
I did have a question for you regarding this whole experience, and it was kind of like coming to me as you were kind of going through it. Like, what was it like to go to an NHL game in such a small venue versus like if you were to watch the ASU team there? Like, did it feel like you were at an NHL game because the stadium is like maybe a third of the size of like a regular one? Like, did something feel off because it was so small?
Yeah, I think so. Like, definitely, like I said, as soon as you walk in there, it's it's not an NHL arena just by the size of it. It doesn't take long to go from one end to the other of the concourse. Walking around the bowl in the upper concourse doesn't take long. Yeah, up until it didn't really feel like I was at an NHL game until they came out for warm-ups, and it's like, okay, there's Patrick Kane. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
am at an NHL game, and then yeah, once the puck dropped, just the pace of the game and how big the guys are, like, and just the speed of just how fast they're moving around the ice it's noticeably faster than what you see at the level of hockey that's normally in an arena of this size. Whether that's college or junior hockey. It was pretty apparent pretty quickly that the product on the ice was the NHL, even though we're in a much smaller facility than normal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for you this fall when I do come out there to see the differences of how it feels like if the atmosphere is different. I don't know how much of a student section they're going to have and everything. So, I mean, unfortunately, I was not able to go with Cody to this one, but I'm going to be able to go there when the Sun Devils are playing. But yeah, I think when we do the follow up video on that, it'd be really cool to compare and contrast like what it was like to watch the NHL in there versus the college team that's their main home. So I'm really excited. Do you have the dates? We want to throw those out there for people and let them know when we're going to be in town.
Yeah, I think it's October.
Right?
I can't remember if it's let me look at a calendar quick. It's that second week of October, so we'll be there the 11th and the 12th when they are taking on the University of Michigan. So it'll be kind of fun for me seeing a Michigan team versus Arizona. I'm not sure who I'll be cheering for in that one yet. I think we're going to try to go to both games. So maybe one
Yeah.
night I'll be an ASU fan, the other night I'll be a U of M fan. Then I think I'm going to try and get down there in December when the U.S. national team development program is playing down there. They've got a couple of guys that are looking to be some of the top picks in the 25 NHL draft. So I kind of want to see them play with the U.S. program. So yeah, we'll be out there. If you're in the area or want to swing by, let us know.
All right, perfect. Well, good job, Cody. We're gonna have a few more of these coming out here hopefully soon. Not sure exactly which one it'll be. If it'll be the draft, if it'll be Ball Arena, Florida, whatever. You just never know with us. A lot of times we talked about this plenty of times. A lot of times we don't even know what we're doing. Like stuff just happens. Like if you watch the last video with the Marlies, like that happened out of nowhere, and within just a matter of an hour or two, we had it figured out. We had tickets bought. We knew exactly where we were going. So you just never know. I mean, you might even see us in Florida at Game 7 of the Stanley Cup in a week. You just never know. That probably won't happen. But I'm just saying, you just never know. So, yeah, thank you, everybody, for watching. As Cody said, everything we do over here is for the love of hockey. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you in the next one.